The Galactic Academy's Xenobiology lecture hall could seat 300 students from 47 different species. Dr. Vexthor, a Crithian with 6 compound eyes and mandibles that clicked when he spoke, had taught comparative predator studies for 2 decades. He knew every tell, every micro-movement that separated prey from predator in the vast ecosystem of sapient life. Which is why he couldn't stop watching the human in the back row. Emily Rodriguez sat perfectly still, her datapad dark, hands folded on the desk. She never took notes. Never asked questions. Her attendance record was flawless, but she might as well have been invisible for all the attention she drew. Except she wasn't invisible. Not to him. Not to the 3 XA-then hunters who'd unconsciously shifted their seats away from her over the semester. Not to the Vorgalian, a species that literally hunted by sensing fear. Who'd requested a room transfer after the first week. Today, Vexthor announced, mandibles clicking with academic enthusiasm, we examine the predator's gaze. Among species, eye contact serves as both challenge and assessment. The XA then, for instance. The lecture hall doors burst open. Not the student entrance. The emergency airlock. 3 figures in combat armor stormed in, weapons raised. Scaran pirates, Vexthor realized with cold dread. The reptilian raiders were infamous across 5 systems for their brutality and their preference for taking high-value hostages from educational institutions. Rich parents paid well. Nobody moves, the lead Scaran hissed, his translator making his words sharp and sibilant. You're all coming with. He stopped mid-sentence. Every predatory instinct in the room had locked onto the same target. The XA-then triplets were frozen, their hunting postures rigid. The Scaran's weapons had unconsciously shifted angle. Even Vexthor found his primary eyes tracking movement in the back row. Emily Rodriguez was standing up. She moved with the careful precision of someone defusing a bomb, rising slowly from her seat. Her face held no expression. Her brown eyes swept across the pirates with the clinical assessment of an apex predator evaluating prey. Sit down, human, the lead Scaran growled, but his weapon trembled slightly. Emily didn't sit. She stepped into the aisle. I said, the pirate started. I heard you, Emily replied. Her voice was quiet, almost conversational. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave. Now. Through that door. You won't take anyone. You won't fire a weapon. You'll just, leave. The Scaran leader laughed, a harsh barking sound. You think you scare me, little mammal? We've raided 100. Your muscle tension increased 14% when I stood up, Emily interrupted, still in that eerily calm voice. Your pupils dilated. Your weapon hand shifted 2.3 centimeters backward. Your breathing rate increased. She took a single step forward. Your body knows what you haven't figured out yet. And what's that? The pirate sneered, but Vexthor noticed his claws were white-knuckling the weapon grip. That I'm not prey. The words hung in the recycled air of the lecture hall. Emily took another step. She wasn't armed. She wasn't even in a defensive posture. She just walked forward with the steady, inevitable pace of a glacier. We're 3 armed, the second pirate began. You're 3 targets, Emily corrected. You came through that airlock door, which means your ship is docked at port 7. That's a 12-second sprint from here. You have 5 rounds in each weapon, I can see the charge indicators from here. Station security response time from this sector is 90 seconds. Another step. Your armor is Gorvok class, which means it's great against plasma but useless against kinetic force. There are 17 objects in this room I could use to turn that armor into a coffin. The desk supports are reinforced titanium. The fire suppression system contains pressurized chemicals that would blind you through your helmet vents. The lead Scaran was backing up. Actually backing up. But here's the thing, Emily continued, her voice dropping even lower. You don't need to know any of that. Because every instinct that kept your ancestors alive is screaming at you right now. Screaming that you made a mistake. That you walked into the wrong room. That you picked the wrong prey. She was 10 feet away now. Humans, Vexthor found himself saying, his scholarly curiosity overriding his fear, evolved as persistence hunters. We didn't outrun our prey or overpower it. We just followed. 4 hours. 4 days. Until it collapsed from exhaustion. Until it died from the stress of being hunted. Emily never broke eye contact with the lead pirate. We learned patience. We learned to wait. We learned to watch. She smiled, and it was the most terrifying expression Vexthor had ever seen on a mammalian face. We learned how predators think. Because we had to become better at it than anything else on our planet. The Scarans were at the door now. We're leaving, the leader said, trying to save face. This station isn't worth. You're running, Emily corrected. And you'll remember this. Every time you think about raiding another school, another station, another group of soft students. You'll remember the human in the back row who didn't have to do anything except stand up. The pirates fled. The lecture hall erupted in chaos, students chattering, crying, laughing with relief. Station security burst in minutes later, finding no hostages, no injuries, and 3 Scaran pirates who'd surrendered in their ship without firing a shot. Dr. Vexthor approached Emily Rodriguez, who was calmly gathering her things as if nothing had happened. Miss Rodriguez, he said carefully. Your file says you're a xenobiology student. That's correct, Professor. It doesn't mention any combat training. Any military service. Emily shouldered her bag and looked at him with those unsettling, steady eyes. It doesn't need to, Professor. I'm human. On Earth, we were prey for millions of years before we figured out how to be predators. We remember both. Every human does, whether we know it or not. She headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Professor. You asked about the predator's gaze. Here's something for your next lecture. The most dangerous predator isn't the one that looks like a threat. It's the one that looks like nothing at all. The one that sits in the back row, silent, while every real predator in the room tracks her first. She left, and Dr. Vexthor realized he'd been holding his breath. That evening, he added a new note to his lecture materials: human beings, persistence predators with prey instincts and apex cognition. Recommend caution. Recommend respect. And in smaller text beneath. Especially the quiet ones.